Hi, my name is Justin. I'm an English teacher here in Yesan.
I'm Garima, I'm Justin's wife. I'm a counseling psychologist.
It's very different to what we came from, and I think we wanted something quiet. I mean, you'll always stick out being a foreigner.
Yeah. I think it took us some time to orient ourselves. Like, where are we?
Extremely frustrating.
He would come home
because
with
I
a
had
different haircut every time he
like
went for a
6 different
haircut.
haircuts from the same hairdresser. I think
I don't speak
English in Korea is about an accent.
Finding an expat community who are teachers definitely helps.
Moving to Korea. What was that like? Kind of going back,
Yeah.
looking back in 2019?
August 2019.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. I think I can definitely remember a lot of anxiety just of the unknown because you don't know where you're truly going. You know you're going to Korea. You know there's a province called Chungnam. You can't really situate yourself or you can't really daydream because you don't know what that looks like. It was almost like taking a really big leap of faith. They're all right. We know what is in front of us. We know we're going to get housing. We know we're going to Korea. The rest we're going to piece together and deal with then. I guess that was how we coped with
the
that.
apartment was, I think, our
Biggest
concern because obviously we'd seen videos online and the program is designed for young
fresh graduates.
graduates coming on their own. And we were saying that we're not expecting lavish or anything, but we're expecting livable. For two people. And, you know, I think we
got
livable and we've made it into something more than what it was.
Yeah.
I just remember we had a layover in Singapore and it was the first time
Hearing
heard Korean and it just...
Hearing Korean live
and I
people...
felt, because we'd obviously watched K-dramas and stuff. And that point I was like, oh wow, it's real. It wasn't just this language on a TV, it was a real language and it was and then walking in Seoul and everything in Hangul, and I thought signs would be in English. I don't know why, and then everything in Hangul, and I was like, oh wow, this is a foreign country. You know, that feeling.
One thing that struck me was I am standing out in the crowd, but at the same time getting lost in the crowd, which was a very funny feeling. That it's almost like, yes, I stand out because it's such a homogeneous country that, you will stand out, let's say, in the subway when you're traveling, but at the same time feeling you can actually just get lost in the crowd and that'll be all right. I mean, it was a very funny feeling. I can't really articulate it, but for me especially so because I didn't belong to a certain kind of community. Like, I'm not a teacher, so I didn't really have my that kind of support network where I can actually share my concerns, because my concerns were so qualitatively different from people there that they were struggling with their, let's say, job or finding their footing with their job, but I had to find my footing just as who I am in this expat community per se, when I'm not doing the quintessential teaching job, teaching foreigner in Korea. So it was hard navigating through that, but I guess one foot in front of the other and slowly setting up home space became more of an emphasis than anything else. Like, if I feel at home, I'll feel fine. If I still don't feel at home, like if going home is an annoying space or is not a set up space, then I'm going to start to feel more and more anxious and frustrated. So I think the very first few things I focused on was setting up the home space, getting some sort of a routine, and then start to think about, okay, who am I in this space? Where do I come in? I think that's what was my experience of it.
Prior to coming to Korea, I was angry at Korea for, having that sort of 7 countries rule and excluding people based on an accent, not on their ability. I've always said India is the biggest English-speaking country in the world. They have extremely educated people. There's a huge focus on education. It's very similar to Korea in many ways. It was difficult because I saw that she didn't, have a place, and there was a lot of just seeing her as an Indian woman in Yesan. People have just kind of assumed things about her that, probably she's working in a factory or something like that without knowing anything about her, what she's done. And not
Yeah.
having a place to go because she worked from home, so she didn't.
I didn't have that separation of home
of
and
home
office life or work life.
and it wasn't like we had
A pretty home either.
2 BHK that you could work here, live here.
Yeah.
So we knew it wasn't going to be easy, and I think that helped us. I think if you come in thinking it's going to be easy, then you'll get disappointed and probably
Yeah.
leave because you can't handle it.
Yeah, or just expect the same level of ease and access that you had in your home country, that you're going to get the same here. Not really, not necessarily. And I don't think that should be anybody's expectation when they're trying to move abroad and live abroad. I mean, the whole point of living abroad is learning different things, the things that you wouldn't have in your home country. Otherwise, why are we moving, right? If not for a sense of experience, learning, and adventure, I mean, then why move if you're still carrying the expectations of our home country? I mean, in terms of food, in terms of ease, in terms of like culture, it's going to be different. That is just a given. But if we are challenging or fighting that given, it's just gonna be difficult for you.
Yeah, I can kind of relate to like seeing you, because my parents, as an immigrant child, seeing my parents, and my dad goes to work and my mom stays home.
Yeah.
And my mom struggled a little bit in the beginning, but then she started finding her community and her way
Yeah.
of navigation. But then my dad also kind of really struggled because of this like language issue and whatnot.
It's nice to have someone to share frustrations with and just sort of vent and sort of handhold with each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think, if you're lucky enough to have an apartment that can accommodate 2 people, then coming with someone that obviously you like, and then it's so much easier. Straight away you have a friend, somebody to talk to, someone to be like, this is what my day was like, this is what, let's go to a cafe, let's go to a restaurant. You always have something to do with someone, whereas if you're on your own, it's very easy to
Yeah.
come home, you had a tough day, and just stay in your apartment and just do whatever on your own and not really get out.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have anybody saying, hey, let's go do something.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can have that should you find that friends
if
community.
you're lucky enough to form some
Yeah.
good friendships and stuff like. But I think on the whole, it's not that easy, and
You'll just be in your head sometimes.
If you were to do this all over again, and you can pick Yesan or Seoul, Busan, or wherever, would you pick Yesan again, or what do you think?
I pretty much like Yesan after having experienced it, and it is pretty central. So, one good thing about Yesan is it is so well connected that you get to travel. I think if I was living in a city like Busan or Seoul, I don't think I would travel to other cities because I'd just be so comfortable. But 2 things. One, I think I wouldn't have the urge to travel and see the rest of the mainland or like just travel around in Korea. And 2, maybe I'd probably feel very lonely at times in terms of a sense of community because it's just so big and so fast paced.
I think there's a lot of yes and no's to this question, because Yesan, we were able to build and develop a little community with the other teachers because we were all placed in a single apartment complex, as well as we got to know restaurant owners. But then, obviously the realities of the small towns is there's not that much to do. So we were visiting other cities, but we were traveling because we didn't have too much to do, but we also wanted to see. So with Epic, like if I wanted to relocate now, again, it would be random, and I wouldn't take that option. So
Yeah.
that, in that sense,
It's like a Russian roulette. For
yeah,
that.
I would not want to give up Yesan for something unknown.
Something and yeah. Well, we're very satisfied
Yeah.
with Yesan. Look at where we are. Look at the mountains.
Yeah, this is in Yesan.
This is in Yesan.
Urigun.
Uri Gun. Uri Yesan.